And my guess is that T1 is going to prioritize picking up that Ziggs, and it is the case.
And this is the danger, because if KT decide to prioritize the Azir here, they're leaving the Tristana open. And Tristana Ziggs, we've seen that combo be so good, so powerful. They opt not even to lean into it, instead securing the Lilia. It is something we've seen banned quite heavily against Ona. The last of the AP jungles to really be high priority. And the MF, not the worst pick into the Ziggs. Ashe is definitely a lot worse, she struggles so much, but not a huge fan. They need to make sure they get some setup. The sleepy bullet time combo is powerful, but you can't always pull it off.
And I'm wondering, there are two options here. Either you go for the blind Tristana, or you go for the Azir. Azir does mean that you go very heavy on the AP. And again, normally Faker on Azir, Classic had probably the most iconic play of the last World Championship, but I don't think in recent games that he's actually been able to make it look as good as he did back then. And both Yone and Tristana are now available for BDD, both of which I think go really well together with the Lilia and have an incredible amount of power and play well into the Azir.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this Azir pickup here, especially if they're going to lock in the Skarner. You're so heavy in terms of AP. You really don't have the 80 damage, especially against picks like a Yone, a Lilia, and MF. They're not tanky picks, but the atomization makes them feel bulkier. The Bloodthirster for MF, you know, we've seen a lot of Bruiser, Yone, Lilia with the healing, and often go on things like the Andrews. So if they start to atomize some MR, T1 are really going to struggle. And the thing is, Zeus can obviously pick a champion with AD, a massive threat, especially the bot side of the map would be so lacking in that area. But actually, I'm not a huge fan of this. They've definitely lent on this in their series against BNK Ferex. They put Perfect on Cassante a lot. But you have red side, you're into Zeus. I think giving him counter pick is dangerous.
We'll have to see what Barrel's going to bring out, right? Because that's the sacrifice that Perfect is making here. Not giving him counter pick, going for something that in lane can get bullied. And this shouldn't come as a surprise.
Not at all.
It shores up the topside weakness, incredibly strong into tanks. I'm wondering if KT want to look for a lane swap, but trying the lane swap into the Ziggs team can feel quite rough.
Yeah, I think this might be the thought process, is if the Leona's picked, then Barrel could go the Poppy or the even the Alistair works well into Leona. So T1 toying with the idea of not coming into Leona here. I think this is a mistake, even though the Leona obviously does struggle a bit into the Poppy. You know, you now limit yourself to that ability to cancel that MF ult, which it's so powerful for a Leona to have. So some decisions I don't necessarily agree with here, although, as you said, the Vayne, no real surprise, and does provide that damage threat.
This is Barrel. He could do something crazy. It's just going to be Senna, which, you know, coming into 14-16, we were like, this is one of the big picks on the patch, and we haven't seen too much of it, but it comes in here, and, you know, honestly, against the poke of the Ziggs, you get a lot of healing, but I'm not sure about this, what this is going to look like.
The sustain on this pick is absurd, and it really makes it hard for Ziggs to land effective poke. The fact that Keria blinded the Poppy was clearly like, okay, we expect you to pick an engaged champ, we expect it to be Alistair or Leona, we're going to pre-pick the Poppy, and they lean into this, and Poppy is not going to have too much...
into this first game of the best of 5, let's do it, game 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
And here we go. Already, the slow is happening here to Zeus, and we got Keria and Owner and
Level
Kuma
1
all coming in. There's the slam into the wall. Perfect's in a bit of trouble, and he doesn't have flash. He's gonna go down to the 6 already. T1. Not sure if that was a bait or what, but Perfect absolutely overchases and gets punished. And speaking of which, we're just gonna face check and die. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but Guma has 2 kills now.
Well, I feel like every single point we made about the draft kind of out the window now. You know, there's concerns about the bot lane for the Ziggs. This back, gonna be able to get the tier, I
imagine, what, like 10, 12 CS that he could have gotten? He's only gone 4, that's not good.
Yeah, nice little angle here onto the Senna. Barrel almost definitely gonna have to flash. Doesn't even bother, he's just gonna take the death and die. Down he goes, that's a kill over to Zeus now. If you were wondering how the carries were doing on the side of T1, they're pretty excellent right now.
You know, healing up with any poke. That's not going to happen for a long time now. So we see Koshik able to get one of the grubs. But T1 moving into challenge, you can see the wave pushed up top, and they will contest those.
I also think that Perfect being behind is actually a really big deal as the CSing struggles continue. Because if you look at the KT composition, outside of Perfect being there as a front line, like the rest of the team are pretty fragile, right? You're looking at maybe Liliac can set up a play like here.
Oh, he's going to flash, or rather satchel out of the way early, and then he will flash. Really respecting the potential setup of the Lilia. Pyosik trying to flash in to make that happen. Here comes the ghost out of Perfect, trying to punish the Vayne. Not always an easy thing to do, as Zay is just being chased down the lane, and Perfect doesn't quite have the range to do it, and now you're being run down as he gets that third bolt into Perfect. But a gank out of level 4 Senna. Not always the most interesting. Here comes Keria, but he's just going to walk by.
Yeah, just some ability there for Zeus to get away from that one. And the thing is, this Senna not doing too much damage at this point, really. And obviously, if you're going to enchant to build, leads all over the place right now. And you can see the XP lead as well. Guma the highest level in the game by a hefty margin.
Beckons the question, was it worth it to blind this Cassante into Zeus? And thus far, the answer is very obviously no. We'll have to see how much value Beryl is going to get out of the Senna as the game progresses. Obviously, once Echoes is finished, he's going to feel a lot stronger. And the heals are still going to be, hopefully, a good amount of utility for KT when we get to mid-game. But if you're getting into mid-game already being like 3k gold behind and you don't have any item finishes, then that's not really going to feel that great regardless.
Yeah, also a big thing with the Senna is if your team is sort of even. Oh.
Yeah, Beryl's in a rough spot here. He does have a splash. He will flash that one. Here comes BDD, who's just going to be swept away. And he is super low Beryl as well. A big bomb coming over the top, but I think they have the chase potential. One more auto would do it. Faker will get the kill. They have gone very deep for this, though. As Carrion thinking about helping out. He's not level 6 yet. As now Pyosik not going to hit anything.
Doesn't have flash.
And there's a disengage cone right here, so KT just have to back away. It's just a kill that goes over to T1 basically for free.
Wondering if maybe Perfect could have gotten the Dragon owner there across the wall. Could have been the difference maker, right? If you get that Skarner underneath the turret, at least you trade back 1-for-1. But that's going to be the Dragon going over here to T1. And yet another successful pick in KT. Quickly crumbling here under the pressure.
Yeah, this is just everything going wrong really in this game. It's 10 minutes into the 3,000 goal lead already. And you're into plenty of picks that scale exceptionally well. On top of that, you know, the Senna, we talk about the value this pick can have, but if you're behind, people will just die. Like, you won't get a chance to sustain them up when a Ziggs ult and Q is just deleting them from the map, especially a Senna who ends up being so squishy when behind.
You know, dig into the beams, you can say, hey, KT are really trying to lower the expectations for themselves.
They're doing a great job of that.
In this series, it basically looks unwinnable from here. It's not unwinnable, obviously, but it does make you feel like, hey, there was so much hype, so much potential for KT to really, you know, do a number to T1 and maybe even take their world spot away. But right now, what we're seeing is T1 are just kind of bopping them over the head. And T1 are just playing a pretty basic playing game. It feels like KT are not really meeting the expectations right now.
Yeah.
And here, even with Beryl not getting slammed into the wall, BD doesn't actually get a big ultimate up, immediately gets knocked back, and Carry has prior on the play. Add to that the fact that you have the Ziggs ultimate to come in as support, and then the fact that they can't really isolate Owner here. KT don't end up getting anything.
It just feels like there's very little threat, you know.
Yeah.
T1 managed to disengage from the situation, and other than getting dragged over the wall, they just kind of get a walkout. Definitely looking a bit difficult. And now Deft chunked out here. Wow. Again, doesn't have the blood.
Yeah, there's Keria, and he just swings by, hits him once, drops the ignite, and gets the kill. And Deft doesn't get to play the game at all.
He didn't even hit the E on Deft.
Nope.
It was just a, what was it, a drive-by ult that killed him?
I think maybe Ignite Buckler.
I don't think the ult even hit him.
I think it was Ignite Buckler.
I think he just autoed once and ignited. And that was it. I mean, Deft doesn't exist right now. Zeus, does he exist is the question. He's still got a flash. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on between the supports, and Kerry is winning that one big time. Can he actually get the kill? Yes, he can. And now he's on the run here. Might be in a bit of trouble, especially with the TP coming in. But Perfect basically just TPs for nothing, and they eventually kill Keria while Faker's solo farming bot.
You know, in terms of the fact that Carrier got gold, no assist, and BDD got the kill in return, in terms of gold distributed, that's worth for KT. For the mental edge, Carrier definitely gets it from that one.
That is being found as Carrier is just running this map on the Poppy.
Yeah, also Guma has been extremely accurate with his Qs. Can sometimes be difficult with the weird balancing mechanics and stuff, but he's basically just plopping it on the heads of every enemy that's in his range, and nobody gets to play the game against his fed Ziggs. Meanwhile, Beryl, well, he's in the game, but he's not really, as he's dead again for the 4th time at 13 minutes. And there's the satchel coming in, maybe asleep here. There's the flash as well. He does have teammates nearby, but not quite close enough, as Guma finally does get punished. And now Owner will go down as well, and finally KT gets something on the map.
Great bait by Beryl there.
Yeah! Classic Beryl!
A lot of resources burned by T1. A bit of an overcommit. More happening.
Yeah, Carrier's just kind of getting in there, and this is actually a bait because the TP's here, Faker's here as well. Dev is just dead, and now Faker gets the scoop here on a Pyosik. Nice Senna ult to help out, and BDD is desperate, but the Condemn comes in, and the knock into the wall is exactly what you were talking about. You're just up against the wall forever, and now the Vayne is going way too deep for this, actually, and will get punished. BDD will survive.
The healing from Beryl coming in a little bit clutch there. A very scrappy back and forth.
The healing there means that BDD doesn't die.
Oh,
is that enough?
Here we go again.
I don't think so.
Owner gonna miss his ult. Also went for the Zeeks here. Pretty common on Skarner, I guess. One of the only junglers as a tank in the jungle to actually still get that item. Faker is gonna take out a turret, and this is the 2nd Drake of the game. It's a Cloud Drake, and already 2 going in the hands of T1, making it a Mountain Soul on the cards for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, yesterday our first game between KT and BNK4X was very slow. Took a long time for things to get rolling. This is kind of what I expected from these two teams. It is still a massive advantage for T1, but it's definitely been a lot scrappier recently. But now, T1 have already taken all of the outer towers. It's 16 minutes, and it's so easy for them just to look and threaten these tier 2s. That's 1 down already, and they can just repeat this play on the other side of the map. And I don't think KT really have a response right now.
Yeah, if you be looking,
because this has been brutal, and I know obviously the level 1 impacted as well, but
yeah, it's not.
Don't let Zeus pick Vayne.
It's not just perfect. I think Deft and Beryl have also definitely struggled, but I do think a lot of the effects follow as
very nice
BDD.
knock up here. BDD, man, this is one way you could still win the game. As the denial from Cario is insane. It's still going to be a kill, but now they're in a bit of trouble as so many low health bars. We got the TP coming in. Nice stasis from the side of Pyosik, as Beryl is burning down a bit, but nobody has actually died yet on the side of KT, and they have some healing as well. So for now, it's just Zeus that has gone down.
And BDD is trying his best, okay? Someone is he's trying to hold everything together here. By itself, not enough, but we'll get the flash, we'll get the kill onto Zeus, and we're slowly starting to see the Senna value come through.
Yeah, he's going full damage builds as well. He knows that the only real tank is Cassante, who's also building armor for the main. As, yeah, this is what I was talking about. You know, he presses 1 button, and Beryl basically dies. Not a kill, but it is going to be Beryl out of the game for now. He will have to back away. Faker still pushing the top lane. And yeah, T1 just basically trying to do their best to utilize the Ziggs to continue to try to push in as Pyosik just catches that one very nicely. And just trying to siege as much as possible. Here comes KT though.
Oh, Kuma just uses W aggressively.
Cassante.
Yeah, here comes the Cassante. It is 4v5 for now. TP available though, as Owner just trying to get away. It doesn't look like they want to fight this one just yet. They have the Azir turret, and Perfect is walking over every single mine that he can find. And yeah, they're just able to disengage. KT doesn't have the best engage at the end of the day anyway.
Also, Perfect, he's got the Frozen Fist and now going towards more armor, but Vayne does true damage, and Faker and Guma do magic damage, so he's not very tanky. He wouldn't be tanky anyway, because he's so behind.
And you see KT trying to posture here for Drake, but the satchel is just so good. Man, our Ziggs players, they're getting a lot of practice on the Ziggs, and everybody is really upping their game nowadays, as Guma is just really not missing anything.
It really is night and day as well when you compare Guma's individual Ziggs performance to when we were at the start of the playoffs, right? And given how important of a pick it is on the patch, that shouldn't come as a surprise, but it definitely is a really big reason of why this This first draft feels a little lopsided, and I do think that as a game number 1, KT took some gambles, right? Perfect being blinding the Cassante, giving over the Ziggs.
Surely
Guys?
not.
You
You can heal through the poke, right? If you're alive.
I don't think it's 100-0 yet, but it's not far away. Like, just the ult.
This is not okay.
I think if Keria slams Beryl into a wall and then it's just Guma ult, I think Beryl might die to that. But I hope we get to see it for science, obviously.
Yeah, by the way, they still had the Rift Herald, so they just saved it until 23 minutes, and now they're using it to push down the mid wave and the mid lane and try to really get into those turrets. Faker going 1v1 against BDD, who eventually does have to rebind, but the rest of T1 are just pushing mid, and this is without Baron, and 1Q does Beryl's whole health bars split amongst, you know,
That was
3 different guys. Yeah.
1Q took like 30-40%. You see as well, the only point of strength that I think KT have is Lilia, who without Flash isn't nearly as much of a threat.
Kind of puts odds really low on KT.
It's never impossible, but it really shouldn't happen. Particularly because I think T1, when ahead, have generally been very dependable. It's more so when they're even or behind that we see them make decisions that make you go, probably shouldn't have done that.
By the
now
way,
though, yep,
yeah.
started up, why not?
And I mean, their Baron damage is just disgusting with the Vayne, with the Azir, with the Ziggs, who isn't even hitting it. He's just zoning Pyosik away. That is 2 abilities, I guess 3. Just going to be thrown in, and Perfect's like, I'm here, guys, I'm ready to help. And the Baron's gone. T1 take it down, 24 minutes in. There's nothing that KT can do.
You know, we've seen so many games where Ziggs has been strong, effective, maybe even a little bit oppressive, but we haven't really had a game where he's been this fed, this snowballed, this ahead. It's very ridiculous.
It's pretty rare in pro to get this level.
Yeah, generally we don't see him get a double kill level 1. I feel like that might have been a big factor in this.
Yeah, I don't think that was in T1's game plan, but they adapted pretty well.
They pivoted really well. It's actually very impressive. Well, TP behind. Hail Mary.
BDD he's still trying his best, but now he doesn't have a health bar. And with Baron buff, this is just even more oppressive because your siege is already fantastic with just the one guy. And, you know, you have some healing, you have some ability to, but not really.
Well,
not 10,000 gold behind.
He's got ult again. With the slow hit from, I think if the slow hits from Ona on Beryl, they can just ult.
Yeah, force a flash.
It's so funny because Beryl is actually healing, but it just doesn't matter. Even the Ludensprock!
Oh no, Beryl! Oh no! And the ult, you know, optimistic, but they do get the heal. And I guess that's something. They already got 2 inhibitors, rather, and they're going for number 3. And here we go, the Impale comes in, gets double flash away from them, just burning, just eating the summoners as they're trying to get on top of Zeus, and they might just do that, but who cares about Zeus when Kuma is this fed on the Ziggs? And you got the 1 carry, but you didn't get the other 2. BDD desperate to try to take something down, but guys, this game is over, and it is out as T1 are looking to take down game number 1 in flying fashion here in this finals of the regional qualifiers. As one last-ditch attempt from Def, but this one is donezo. 26.5 minutes, and game 1 goes to T1.
I think KT needs some more prayers after that one, but it's really